Welcome to our Finding Assets with Estate Search virtual partner event. I'm Hillary, marketing manager here at Estateably, and we're happy to have you join us today. Before we dive in to the main content of today, I am going to go over a few housekeeping items for our event. So I'm just going to quickly share my screen here. Okay. So as everyone starts to join, I just want to let you know that the Zoom chat is open and we'll add some links into the chat throughout the webinar. But if you're up for it, let us know where you're joining us from today. Just drop your city or country into the chat. As I thought about and searched for some fun virtual event icebreakers for this specific webinar, I came up with the question of what's the most mystery asset you've ever had to track down? So, for those of you who want to share that in the chat, please do. I think it'll be fun to read those later for sure. So chat's open and it'll be closed through the webinar. That's because during the webinar we're going to use Q&A. So use Q&A for kind of a parking lot for specific estate search questions, and we'll manage the Q&A throughout the webinar. And if we need to, we can always circle back on any questions that we can't answer right now. We'll follow up with you after the event. Reactions are on, so feel free to use those. Drop me a thumbs up or whatever you're feeling right now, if you want, right? Use those reactions right now. Raffle prize, very important. I want everyone to know that all attendees have been entered into our raffle drawing. It's for a Loop and Tie gift card, and the winner is going to be announced at the end. So stay to the end and don't miss out. And then exclusive access. We have some exclusive access today. So all attendees will get a link to Estate Search's digital assets in death guide. Super great resource. It's awesome to know that Amazon has a dedicated bereavement team. So it's a great resource, quick, easy, digestible read. So we'll drop the link into the chat. And then we'll also, there's a QR code at the end as well that you can be sure to get that resource. So okay, so what's on tap for today? We are so psyched to have Ron Batter, Director of Business Development from Estate Search, with us today. Let Ron give his full introduction in a moment, but today Ron's going to provide like not just an overview of what Estate Search does, but a look at the portal, and then also he'll review some specific cases where searching for assets was absolutely critical that I think may resonate directly with some of you. That's what Ron will be covering today. And then before I turn things over, we just wanted to give you a bit of the why behind our partnership. So a bit of background. Here at Estateably, we spend a lot of time thinking about the reality of trust in estate administration. So our goal has always been pretty simple, become that platform that brings all of the moving parts together so you can actually get the job done without chasing information or relying on memory. And finding and verifying assets is one of the most critical and often most uncertain steps in the entire process. So it's one of the areas where the risk and liability are also highest. So it was really important for us to partner with a team that specializes in doing that exceptionally well. So that's really kind of the why behind our partnership, which actually started in 2022 when Estateably CEO Ari Brody and Estate Search CEO Jonathan Upton met on a panel at Step International in London, and they were talking about emerging technology in trusts and estates. And since then, we've worked with Estate Search at conferences and CPD events, and now we're taking the next step forward into an integration. So today, right now, that integration looks like embedding Estate Search into the steps of the Estateably workflow, which some of our users may have already seen. But over time, and that's what we're working on right now, we're going to evolve that integration into a deeper integration where you can perform asset searches right within the Estateably platform. So we're really excited about that because at the end of the day, we really know that this is super complex work. And we're just focused on trying to make sure that nothing gets missed, especially when it comes to identifying and documenting assets. So We're trying to create that one connected platform where you can manage it. And so we're excited to show you how that comes to life today. And now, one last thing before I turn it over to Ron. I'm going to launch a survey right now. It's totally optional. It's available to you throughout the event. The purpose is strictly to gain some information from all of you to help us prioritize and build that integration. Like we ask specifically, at what stage do you typically conduct your asset searches? So if you have a minute to fill that out, that would be great. I'm just going to launch that right now, and you should all be able to see that. One second. I'll launch this poll, get it rolling. So that's live now. So if you can fill that out, that'd be great. And I say that as a greedy data collecting marketer. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Ron. Please introduce yourself, and the floor is now yours.
Thank you, Hillary. Thank you very much. It's great to be here today. Thank you to our great partner, Estateably, for uh, organizing this event. And we've worked together, as Hillary said, for the past number of years, even before we launched here in Canada. And we're excited to participate today. I'm going to just share my screen. I think, Hillary, I think you have to stop sharing
There you go.
first, and then I will share my screen. There we go. And let me know if that's you can see that.
Perfect.
Perfect. Great. Okay. So again, thank you, Hillary. I'm Ron Batter, Director of Business Development here at Estatesearch. I've been with Estatesearch now since 2020, beginning of 2024. And before we start with the demo, I want to give a brief introduction of Estatesearch for those of you who don't know what we do. Looking through who's on board here, it's great to see so many names that I recognize, of people that I've met before, and it's great to see everyone right across the country. So, in terms of Estatesearch has been operating in the UK for about 8 years, and in Canada for the past 2 years. So we launched the service here in Canada in 2024, and have been supporting the Canadian legal market ever since. In the UK, our financial profile search has become a standard due diligence report used by estate practitioners to identify the assets and liabilities of a deceased individual. And as you know, executors, wherever they may be, have a fiduciary duty to conduct this type of search. And this report that we provide is an essential tool used by firms, especially when they act as executor, as well as a service they offer to their clients when acting on behalf of executors. Our service is pay as you go. There's no subscription fees or minimum spend, and our accounts are free to set up. Last year, we hosted a webinar. We joined the Estateably webinar with our valued partner, Estateably, where we explored the digital shift, and we discussed the transition from traditional paper-based systems to digital platforms, and a change that has significantly reduced paper trails, and as a result, made asset discovery more challenging. We also highlighted that the largest demographic today is digital first. And in addition, we examined how inadequate estate planning and the failure to inform next of kin or future executors of all assets has contributed to a significant amount of unclaimed funds remaining within the Canadian financial system. We estimate that there's between $10 billion and $20 billion in unclaimed assets in Canada. And our research has uncovered how this breaks down, as you can see on the screen here. Now, we have a full session we call Canada's Missing Billions, which we'd be happy to present to you and your team individually. It's actually accredited by the Law Society of Ontario for 30 minutes of CPD. So we can go into more detail on that, and I can explain to you how, look at greater depth at these numbers, because they are quite staggering. So, what does our service do? Um, the we have our main service is the financial profile search. So that's where we reach out to and make an inquiry with over 170 Canadian financial institutions, and those are banks, credit unions, trust companies, insurance companies, pension plans, and transfer agents. We also include a liability search through a TransUnion credit search. So we'll give you that credit history. We also, of course, have been operating in the UK for a long time, so we can search in the UK, in the US. We've just added Hong Kong, France, Italy. We're growing in the amount of jurisdictions we can conduct a search. So those would be searches in addition to the Canadian search that you're doing. On top of that, we mentioned the digital assets in Death Guide. Digital assets are a growing area of investment for people where they put their money into, and sometimes those are often hard to track. So we do have an add-on digital asset search, which looks at about another 50 institutions for crypto, online trading, and online gambling. We also have in Ontario a division called Estatesearch, where we handle estate bonds, so estate administration bonds, foreign executor bonds, guardianship bonds, lost instrument bonds, and now we offer vacant property insurance. So we have our surety account executive, Cole Freya, is based here in Ontario and is licensed to sell insurance here in Ontario and is looking at expanding into other jurisdictions as well and getting licensed to sell there. So keep an eye out if you're outside of Ontario for the ability to use our service, especially the vacant or unoccupied property insurance. And of course, we have a great partnership with Estateably right now. We're just in the workflow, and as Hillary said, we're moving towards a further and further integration with them. So it may look a little different than what I'm going to show you, but in terms of the functionality, I'm going to show you our platform, and everything will eventually be the same. So now, before I go into the demo, actually, again, I'm going to mention the digital assets and death guide, so you'll be able to download that. All right, let me just end this. And now for the demo. So I've switched over to the platform. If you could just let me know if you can see that now on the screen.
Yep, got it.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so this is our new platform, which is launching next week. It's already launched in the UK, but what we've done is we've streamlined and kind of updated the way things work. So, as I said, the accounts are free to set up. There's no nothing. You don't pay anything up front. We invoice you for anything you do. We invoice you the following month for anything you've done in the previous month. So when you first log in, so you'll set up. We set up the users. Everyone will have their individual logins, user IDs, and passwords, all under the same, say, firm account, and then they'll have individual users. And when you first log in, this will be what you'll see. When you first time you log in, this will be empty. But these are all kind of cases that are these are all pretend. But this is how it will work, and this will be your work in progress. So I'm going to launch a new case. And what we do here is, this used to be 3 or 4 pages. Now we've streamlined it to just 2. So the reference, this is your own internal reference number. This is whatever you want to show up on your invoice. However you name or number your matters, just put that in there. It doesn't matter to us. That's going to be reflected on your invoice. So the main thing we do is bereavement files. So where the person is deceased, we can, for those of you that work with guardianships and maybe elder law, where the person has been deemed mentally incapable, we can do a search on a living person only where they've been deemed mentally incapable. There's a guardian appointed and a power of attorney in place. And for any of you that practice family, I always joke, no, we don't do searches on like deadbeat spouses or anything like that. This is the only time we do it on living people. But I'm going to focus today on estates. So you can tell us whether it's testate or intestate. So if it's testate, you're telling us if you're acting as the executor or on behalf of executor. And intestate on behalf of you are or acting on behalf of the administrator or next of kin. And I'm going to use the term executor. I understand that, it's personal representative, estate trustee, but I think, I'm just going to use the general term executor across the board. So let's do this where you are acting on behalf of the executor. Now you provide us with the details of the deceased. So let's, Margaret Helen Smith. Okay. Date of birth, And this is something we've streamlined for those of you that currently use our platform. This is more of a drop-down feature. So we've made it a little bit easier here. We've also worked on improving the address search here. I always use uh, my uncle's old address in London, Ontario. I don't know. He lived there 45 years ago, and I don't know why I still remember this, but it's going to pick up Canadian addresses for you. So you just select it and it'll pre-populate that for you. Now, this is something we're hoping with the integration, you won't have to rekey in this information. Presumably, you've already put this in Estateably and we'll be able to transfer this, so minimizing the amount of errors that may happen. Now, if it's a weird address or you need to add it manually, like it's a rural route or something strange like that, you can enter the address manually. So now I'm going to create the case. Um, sorry, and then from here I'm going to order the report. So like I said, the report is $400 plus applicable taxes, depending where you are. So that's the Canadian report. And like I said, we invoice you in the next month. You can add other jurisdictions, just know there's associated costs there as well. And you will be able to, this is just my demo portal, so I can only choose one or the other, but in future, you'll be able to choose both of them. So again, you don't have to rekey in information if you're doing a multi-jurisdictional search. But for now, it all kind of works the same anyway. So for now, I'm going to do the search on or fill in some more additional information. A name like Margaret Smith or common names, happen. So what can you give us that can help us differentiate and identify this person? So none of this is mandatory, but this is all helpful information. So social insurance number, if you have it, it's great. It's the most unique identifier every Canadian has. So that's always helpful. Trading name, we don't do a corporate search, but if they were a sole proprietor, something like that, the only shareholder in a corporation, you can add that in there. Maybe she ran Margaret's Bakery or something like that. We can add that to our search to search, but we do not do corporate searches, and I would avoid anything where it's a corporation with multiple shareholders. Cell number, email address. These are also helpful, especially now as people are signing up for things using their phone, their email addresses, especially the digital assets. Employers also helps to differentiate. Then you can add additional names, so previous names, aliases. Maybe she was known by Marg or Peg. Maybe she was, M. Helen Smith. Maybe she was Irene. People go by different names and register things differently. So you can add previous addresses or previous names there. Just keep adding them as many as you like. And same with previous addresses. Maybe that Wilkins Street address is a long-term care facility that Margaret moved into later in life, but she lived at 20 Main Street for 25 years, and so Margaret may or may not have changed her address or updated her address with her financial institution. So if you have that, you can add that in there. Then evidence, this is the mandatory part on this page. So there's three things you need to upload. One is the proof of death. So some sort of proof of death. I know in Ontario, it's most often the funeral director's statement of death. There's provincial territorial death certificates or even international government issued death certificates from other jurisdictions. So you can upload that. The second is an authority to act. So this is something signed by your client saying, I'm Helen Smith, the executor for Margaret Smith. I've hired ABC law firm to be my firm. So this can be like a retainer letter, something as simple as that, just something signed by the client saying that you have the authority to act on their behalf. If you are the executor, that can also be like a certificate of appointment, where you've been appointed as the executor. Then the third is an appointment of Estatesearch. So this is a letter of authority where we ask that you put this on your letterhead. We have a template for it, and it basically appoints Estatesearch to act on your behalf to reach out to the financial institution. So these are simple drag and drops or uploads. And then if you want to add the digital asset search, you see that's $60 to do the additional a search from there. So, from this, it's a very straightforward process, like I said, in terms of adding the information and uploading. And just so you know, what we send to the financial institutions is only this evidence of death and the appointment of estate search. We do not send this out. This sometimes is a will or like I said, if it's a retainer letter, it may have other information. We only keep this on our files simply in case we get audited. We're ISO 27001 certified. Our onboarding process has been approved by TransUnion here in Canada, by Experian in the UK. So we have processes we need to follow, but we only just keep in mind we only send the proof of death and the appointment of estate search. So I'm going to cancel this order just because I'm not going to submit this. And now you'll see if I return to the cases, it's added this in terms of my work. So I can go back if I need to change anything, I can do that. You just click the view details, pardon me, and then order the reports. And just to kind of show you what the international profile looks like, it's all exactly the same. And then you can see some of the other jurisdictions that we've added, and there's actually even more in the live portal for now. So that's it. And then what happens is once you submit the search, it comes into our team. So we have an administration team that reviews everything that comes in. They check to see, that you've keyed in the date of birth and the date of death correctly. Sometimes people transfer numbers or transpose numbers and that sort of thing. So we go through that check first, and then what we do is then we write out to the financial institutions. So we do the credit search right off the hop, and then we send out the notices or the inquiries to the financial institutions. And it's fairly straightforward. All we're asking is, do records exist? So we're approaching this from a standard of due diligence, that you've made inquiries with these institutions. So we write them out the notice. Do records exist? Do you have a relationship with the deceased? We're not asking for account numbers or account balances or even the type of account. We're just looking for a yes or no. We're casting this wide net to help narrow down and help you focus on positive matches, so you can then pick up the ball with them and provide them all the additional information they need for you to get that information. So we produce our report in 30 business days, but we notify you of positive matches as we get them. So day 7, TD Bank says, yes, there's a match. Whatever they send us, we just take and attach it to the file online here. It would be attached in this area here. We send the user an email saying, hey, user, there's a match on your Smith file or whatever the reference number is. Please log in and take a look at it there. So the user will log in and come in here, and whatever we get from the institutions, we just attach there. Same for when the report is done after the 30 business days. So that's usually about 45 calendar days or so, depending, with weekends and holidays, depending on what time of year it is. Once the report is done, you'll get an email saying the report is ready on the Smith file. Log in there, and then you'll go and download it from there. And I have a sample report to show you as well. So you should be able to see that. So this is a report where we've redacted some information. And so what we do is, like, all of this information will be the particulars you provided of the deceased. This is key, though. We tell you the date of the report and then the date we conducted the search. We summarize how many matches we found for you. So then you have that sense. And again, this report's going to evolve and grow as we expand. The names you provided us, if there was more than one name that you did, more than one address, we add that in there as well. And then we summarize where we found the matches. So this one looks like they were out west. We found a hit with the Alberta Public Service Pension. Looks like they worked for the federal government at some time as well. We got a hit through TransUnion, which identified some more places that the person worked with or banked with, or financial institutions they had relationships with. And then we list for you every organization we've contacted through this. So you can see again, it's pension funds, BMO. We do the all big five banks, the small banks. We do some of their investment divisions as well. Credit unions, insurance companies. So it's pretty broad. We search CompuShare, TSX, and Odyssey Trust as well for matches, for positive matches. There's stuff like KEB here, I think is listed here. That's the Korean bank, but here in Canada. So again, it's a very broad, comprehensive list right across the country. This list has grown significantly since I first started. I think we started with 150 organizations, but since we've added a number of credit unions, I know I added a number of credit unions in Manitoba and in Alberta as well. And if there's more of them, we're happy to add them. This is a growing and evolving list. So that's it. And then I'll show you as well, like we would include and we would separate out here the digital assets. So again, these are the types of organizations that we contact, like Coinbase and Kraken. I know crypto.com, we asked, they're on our list now, but this report is a little older, so we didn't have them on there. So again, these are the organizations that we do. So that's my demo. I think we still have a few minutes left for questions. I'm happy to answer in the time we have, and of course, we'll put my contact information. Feel free to reach out to me as well.
Perfect. Thanks, Ron. Yeah, we do have a couple of questions. So if you have a minute to
Sure, I'm
answer
here. I'm
some,
happy to
that'd
do
be
it.
great.
Yes.
Let me just
I'm just
start.
trying to figure out how to stop sharing my screen, but
I got it.
Zoom it. Okay, perfect. Okay, great.
Okay, so first question is have you sorted out the automated responses from Scotiabank indicating a match, but every search resulted in a hit whether or not there is an account? Is this
Um,
something? Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm not quite sure. I mean, I find that some of the responses vary, and again, sometimes it depends on who has responded. As I'm sure many of you who deal with banks go. I found actually Scotia has been usually most consistent in terms of providing us information with who to contact and where to contact. I've seen a number of times where it's no match with Scotia as well, so I'm not quite sure that. I'd be happy to discuss that with you
Okay.
and your experience.
Okay. So Julie, we'll circle back with you on that
Okay.
one, definitely afterwards. Had a couple of quick, do you search liabilities and CRA dues?
Not CRA. We just do the Bank of Canada. All that's on hold until we work a better process out with them, because they uh, that we're trying to automate that process with their not CRA. We don't search that, but we do the liability search. We do is through TransUnion, so that would be a standard kind of credit search that we do. Which you would expect to see, which picks up usually banking, utilities, phone, that sort of thing.
Okay. Okay. Good. Um, I had one about kind of the data, the input. So, what if the deceased had a middle name, but his middle name was not indicated on a certain asset he had? Would this still be picked up in the report?
Well, again, what we send, we send whatever information we have, and that's why we do ask that you provide as much information as possible. And yeah, I've seen variations of the name come up, especially with if you've provided additional information like a social insurance number or addresses. That helps narrow down that individual as well. I mean, our first search, the very very first search we did was for someone named Adam Smith, and they didn't even live in Canada. So, and we were able to find a match on that,
Nice.
and so I mean, it's not perfect, and it's not necessarily going to happen every time, just depending on the organization. But we've had a great deal of success with that.
Okay. We are right at time here. I just wanted to let those that have submitted questions in the Q&A, we're going to circle back. We've got a couple more. We have 6, 7, 8 more to answer. So we're right at time here, but Ron will circle back with all of you and get those questions answered for sure. I did just want to quickly remind everyone about downloading the guide. You have exclusive access today, so go ahead and get that link from the chat that's open, or scan the QR code. I know I read everything on my phone, so you can read it right on your phone. Also wanted to give a shout out to the chat about the most mysterious asset being a golf club membership value. I worked in private golf and country clubs. That's difficult when they're equity,
Yeah.
non-equity. How much do they cost now? I mean, that's a good search for sure. So, um, and then I also wanted to make sure that we had a couple of seconds here to announce our Loop and Tie gift card winner. Again, thank you all so much for your time today. So, without further ado, I just wanted to announce the winner. Drum roll, please. Megan Ribbit is our winner of the Loop and Tie gift card. So, Megan, we will definitely email you and get you that gift card. Again, thank you all so much for joining us today. We'll circle back with the questions that we haven't answered yet. And again, thank you for taking the time to chat with us today. Have a good rest of your day, all.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.